Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy met on Monday with Special Envoy Kellogg in Washington. According to Associated Press, it comes as many of Europe's leaders are descending on Washington with the explicit goal of protecting Ukraine's interests, a rare and sweeping show of diplomatic force to show U.S. President Donald Trump a united front against Russia. Trump is set to host Zelensky and the leaders at the White House to discuss how to end Russia's three-year war in Ukraine. The American and Ukrainian leaders are scheduled to first meet privately, without the Europeans. In his talks with Kellogg, Zelensky stressed that security guarantees would be the most important topic in the talks and thanked the president for his invitation. Ukrainian presidential advisor Dmytro Lytvyn said to journalists that it was a good meeting. Months of US-led diplomatic efforts to stop the fighting haven't made headway, but the stakes have risen since Trump met with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday. The presence of several European leaders at the talks in Washington shows how central the conflict, and any settlement, is to wider security questions on the continent.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hi, good to see you.
Great. How are you?
Mr. President, thank you very much for your time. I know your time is busy.
A little bit.
What I wanted to do just briefly was to, I've got a meeting with the President, the Vice President, and the National Security Advisor, Secretary of State this morning.
Thank you so much. So first of all, we are thankful to the President for this invitation and the format of what we will have. It's important signals about security guarantees, and that's why it's important that we are together with the United States and Europe, and the President accepted the meeting, common meeting, also after our bilateral common meeting with Europeans. And so I'm so grateful that such big countries as UK, Finland, and and the President von der Leyen, the Secretary, that they will come, and I think this will be important meeting, and we will speak about the architecture. I think so. We will have time to speak about architecture of security guarantees, and this is what really I think the most important.
Good.
Yes. We can speak about it when we will be together, sitting together.
Russian command is increasing the use of suicide squads to try to infiltrate Pokrovsk and reach its outskirts, with the Ukrainian defense on high alert. 80% of the Russians are destroyed even before reaching the town, with deceived migrants and forcibly mobilized Ukrainian separatists being thrown into the meat grinders as cannon fodder and acceptable casualties, says RFU News. It is noted that Russian forces recently attempted one of their most ambitious infiltration missions yet to penetrate Pokrovsk from the south. Using Pishchani as a forward base, the Russian command formed 3 tactical groups of 50 men each, tasked with sabotage inside the city. Their goal was to sow panic behind the front line and force Ukrainian units to abandon positions, as has happened in other settlements along the front. RFU News says that the infiltration route took 14 days in total. 4 to reach Pishchani's industrial zone used as a launch point, and another 10 to creep towards the main streets in southern Pokrovsk. Moving roughly 600 kilometers per day to avoid detection, they relied on drone drops for food, water, and communication updates. Despite careful coordination, camouflage ponchos, and preloaded route trackers, Ukrainian drones intercepted and eliminated most of the saboteurs. As of the original 150 infiltrators, around 120 were killed before even reaching their objectives, as confirmed by geolocated footage. The remainder were hunted down inside the city, with Ukrainian units releasing more footage of how some of the Russians surrendered, while others were eliminated in close combat. The cost to Russia was staggering. as the operation incurred roughly 80% casualties just to reach Pokrovsk, not counting those later captured or killed after arrival. While a handful of infiltrators ambushed Ukrainian units, the mission failed to achieve its operational aim. The Ukrainian Defense Forces not only retained control, but also captured dozens of enemy troops. Fighters of Ukraine's 425th Skala Separate Assault Regiment took 32 prisoners over a week of clearing operations alone. Video evidence from the town shows Russian infiltrators being cleared from buildings and hiding spots, their weapons seized as trophies, according to RFU News. Yet, such attritional losses have not dissuaded Russian commanders. On the eastern flank of Pokrovsk, where fighting is intensifying, Moscow is preparing more expendable suicide squads. An entire brigade here is being staffed with deceived migrants from Central Asia and Donetsk People's Republic volunteers, most of whom are forcibly mobilized men from Russian-controlled Donetsk. These units, poorly trained and often unwilling, are tasked with advancing toward Pokrovsk's eastern outskirts to overwhelm defenses through sheer numbers. RFU News says, since 2014, many DPR formations have been filled with marginalized individuals and criminals, commanded by Russian officers. Now, this volatile mix is being hurled into the bloodiest sector of the front, with minimal expectations of survival, with these migrants and separatists being seen as expendable by Russian command. The brutality extends up to the chain of command, as reports from Russian military analysts indicate that separatist officers who question orders or show reluctance to sacrifice their men in large numbers often simply disappear.